Hi there, my name is Jennifer O'Connor, as you probably know. I'm a former student of Professor Van Slyke. I was actually one of his first students when he first arrived at the Maxwell School almost 10 years ago. Today I'm going to be talking about the HOME program, which is a program through the Department of Housing and Urban Development. So it's a grant, and I know today you're talking about grants as a tool of government. So I'm going to talk about how I've implemented the HOME program here in Brownsville, Texas, and I'll give you some background about Brownsville in and of itself. Then I'll talk about the HOME program, explain it to you using a lot of the terminology that you'll have learned in Van Slyke's class, and then I'll talk to you about some of the challenges that I faced in implementing the program, which to me is actually the most exciting part as a policy implementer. So let me go ahead and get started. I'm sorry I couldn't be with you via Skype today, but I am going to actually be traveling, so I decided to record this video ahead of time. And I hope to include some videos of Brownsville so you get a little bit of a sense of the community where I'm working. Just a little bit of background about myself. I am a 2005 graduate of the Maxwell School. And I got my MPA with a concentration in local government and social policy, and I've been doing that ever since. So my first job out of grad school was working for the city of Syracuse. I worked on the community development block grants, or CDBG grants, which are very common. Those are another grant that's run by HUD, the Department of Housing and Urban Development. So that's really where I got my start in working on federal grants at the local level. Then I went on to work in regional government in Tucson, Arizona, working for the Metropolitan Planning Organization, and there I did work on both transportation issues and social services. Then we moved to Brownsville, Texas, and worked for the city, first as a grant writer, and then an opportunity came open to work on the HOME program, which I will tell you more about. So first, where is Brownsville, Texas? We are located directly on the border between the United States and Mexico. I should mention that I no longer work for the city of Brownsville. I just had a daughter 5 months ago and am now staying home with her. But everything I'll be talking about I did right up until I left the city of Brownsville to have my baby. So her name is Ellie. You may hear her in the background. She's adorable. Anyways, Brownsville, located on the border with Mexico. Like literally on the border from my office in downtown Brownsville, I could hear the marching bands practicing across the border in Mexico sometimes. You'll see in some pictures I have in the videos, it's a lot of cross-cultural exchange. This is a very predominantly Mexican-American community. And one example is this photo on the next slide. You'll see we have lots of businesses that are catered to Spanish speakers. We have many Spanish speakers in the community, and so you'll see lots of Spanish signage and meet lots of Spanish speakers and dual language speakers, of course, here in the Brownsville area. On the next slide, I just wanted to give you some brief data about Brownsville, comparing Brownsville and the state of Texas. So the population of Brownsville is about 180,000 compared to 26 million in the state of Texas. It's a very young community, lots of families with young children, and it's a growing community. From 2000 to 2012, the city of Brownsville grew by 3%, and that's really a good trend that we've been seeing in Brownsville, just slow, steady growth of young families. So you'll see persons under 18 years old, 34% here as compared to the state of Texas, which is 27%. Very predominantly Mexican-American, 93%. As a white person, sometimes I definitely feel like a rarity. It was great working for the city of Brownsville because it was definitely locals who are from here who are working in the government. So that's kind of nice to see, especially when you see a lot of cross-border tensions. There was a time when the city of Brownsville was run only by white people, who moved here as Brownsville was growing and developing. At one time, it was a pretty affluent city because it did see a lot of cross-border trade, And so the downtown actually, and you'll see in a video in a moment, it had its heyday and has lots of beautiful historic homes downtown, but also a lot of poverty downtown. And it's kind of surprising to see those homes next to each other, a really beautifully preserved home next to lower income family homes. As you can see, the median income is $31,000 in Brownsville compared to the state of Texas at $51,000. It's a very poor community. Persons below poverty, 34.5%. So that, again, very low. And I just wanted to give you an idea of the size there with the square miles. In just this past year, Brownsville was determined to be the poorest city in the United States based on the 2012 American Community Survey data. So when I say that we're a very poor community, it's very well documented. And so that means that there's a real high need in this community, which made it very exciting for me to work on a HUD-funded program because there's so much good that can be done with HUD funding. So next I'm going to switch to a video of housing in downtown Brownsville. This is a video that I shot yesterday, just driving around downtown, picked a random street and started videotaping. So I hope it gives you a little bit of an idea of the type of community that I live in, and then I'll be back to talk about the home program.